All right, Chair, we are ready to begin whenever you are.
We're going to call this special session to order this evening. Katie, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Position number 7, representing Canby and Molalla, Irene Konev.
Here.
Position number 6, representing Estacada and Colton, Jane Reed.
Here.
Position number 5, representing Westland and Wilsonville, Ryan Ingersoll.
Here.
Position number 3, representing Gladstone and Johnson City, Wade Hathorn. Oh, Wade, did you say here?
Mute.
Oh, we can't hear you. Something's wrong with your sound or your microphone. And we'll move on to position number 2, representing Clackamas and Happy Valley, Rob Wheeler.
Here.
And then position number 4, representing Oregon City, Chair Josephine Crenshaw. And then Wade, did you want to check your mic?
Really?
Oh, maybe. Say it again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yay. All
I feel
right,
like a
Joe,
bad
over to you.
commercial. Right.
And did you call me? Yes. I'm here.
Well, that's good. I didn't wait for you to respond, but I did call you.
Yes, you did. All right. Do we have our first candidate here? How are we going to position these? There are 4 questions, and we have one candidate, and there are 7 of us, 6 or 7 of us. And I'm going to read the first question, and then we can make a decision as to who wants to read number 2, number 3, or number 4. So how are we going to make that decision, Katie?
Jane, did you want to take one? You had your hand raised.
Yeah, I had my hand up for 4, but I'll take, I had this covered, so I didn't see. Did people raise their hand and were they assigned to others?
No, I didn't assign
Okay.
anyone this time because there wasn't enough questions. So I think it's up to you guys how you want to do that.
Well, I'll
If
read
you,
any of them, but I'll read 4.
okay.
Yeah.
I could read 2.
Okay, so we have 3 and 5.
I'll
I'm
do
still
3.
trying to find the questions.
I'll do 3,
Oh,
Katie.
okay, thank you. And I will email them to you.
I'm going to do number 1. They received these same questions, didn't they, Katie? Does anyone have any suggestions on anything on any one of the questions? And on our next candidate, then we will start with whoever did not have a question. They can take the first read on the next go round. Is that agreed?
Mhm.
Sure.
Thank you.
So who will that be? Does everybody have a question? I'm 4, you're 1, Ryan is 2, and who is number 3?
Wade.
Wade is 3. Okay, so Irene would do uh number 1 the next time,
Next time.
or the second. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll have a moment between the two so that we can make that decision at that time.
Okay. Okay.
And our first candidate is here. Our first candidate is Deb Barnes. So if you guys are ready, we can start a little early, or we can wait a few more minutes and then start. If you had anything else you wanted to discuss before bringing in a candidate.
Let's roll.
Mhm.
Yes, let's
All
go.
right. We'll go ahead and admit Deb Barnes.
Is she on? Hello, Deb.
She's probably just getting her
Yeah.
camera and her mic on.
Good evening.
Good evening, Deb. How are you today?
I'm good. Hi,
Mhm.
Rob. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. I love seeing familiar faces.
Been a while, hasn't it?
It has.
There are several on here that you have not met, I don't believe. Deb,
I would love to be introduced.
terrific. Well, I'm Joe Crenshaw, and I'm leading this group today. We have Jane Reed,
Hi, Jane.
Hi, Deb.
I
and you
think we
already,
have met.
I think so. When I represent Estacada
Yeah,
and Colton.
right.
No, yeah.
and I'm representing Oregon City.
Great.
Wade, you've met Deb before?
I'm not, I don't believe. I don't know if the name is familiar though. So I was trying to put one and one together. I don't know if it was the bond campaign from 14 or something else. I don't know. We could talk about that. But I
Okay.
represent Oak Lodge and Gladstone and Johnson City and areas around.
Great. Nice to see you again.
Yeah. And actually small portions of Milwaukee, where you're from as well. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
And you already met Rob Wheeler.
Yep, absolutely. Worked with Rob.
And now the last candidate is Ryan Ingersoll. Ryan, you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi there. Nice to meet you, Deb. I'm Ryan. I represent Wilsonville in West Lynn and recently joined the board and grew up in Milwaukee. That's where I was born. So,
Oh, awesome. What school did you go to? High school.
well, I moved, but I went to View Acres and I was very involved with Owen. It was Owen Sabin Skill Center when I was there. So I'm like, this name thing, I was like, wait, is that the same? So, yeah, but I did a lot of things there. So,
Awesome.
And
Nice
there's
to
one,
meet you.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
There's one other. Where is
I'm here. Hi, my
Irene?
name is Irene Konev, and I live in Canby, and I represent Canby and parts of Wilsonville and rural outlying Clackamas County.
Great.
Thank
Nice to
you.
see you.
Nice to see you too.
Well, is there anything that we need to that you would like to ask us before we start?
No, I think there's a little section at the end. I have one question, but I'd be glad to answer your questions the minute you want to start.
All right. Well, I'm going to have the first question here. Every aspect of our work we do at CCC is guided by our vision, mission, and values. They are our vision, empowering individuals and strengthening communities. Our mission as our community college, we cultivate equitable, innovative, and responsive education. Our values are learning, equity, student success, community, and belonging. Please could you share with us the ways in which your life has prepared you to serve as on this institution with these with these values?
Absolutely. And thank you for the question. And thanks for allowing me to spend some time with you this evening. I love the interview process. As you probably know from reading over my biography, my information, I have spent the last 32 years of my life as a public school teacher for the North Clackamas School District after leaving a career in broadcasting that I was involved with for 14 years. I also was an educator for Concordia University, both here in Portland, and then when they disrupted and left Portland, they hired me again for Nebraska. So I've had both secondary and post-secondary education experience, and it involved CTE, career and technical education. So I didn't go the traditional route of being a teacher. I came from business and industry and was hired by North Clackamas to start the broadcasting program, which back then was called Telecommunications Systems Technology. And I tell you that as my background because, quite frankly, North Clackamas is known throughout the region and the state of being very, very good at their strategic plan of making students whole. What we believe in is education through an equity lens. And I was trained in that from the very beginning. And over the last 10 years of my career, I went through diversity training, not only as a teacher, but as an administrator, because I served some time as the North Clackamas Education Association president, and our union believed we had to all work together as a team to make sure that there was a cultural responsive training given to all of us, including our students. So I took part in 3 trainings from the student perspective, from the educator perspective, and from the administrative perspective. And it taught me so much, but I'm a product of the North Clackamas School District. I graduated from Clackamas High School. My 3 daughters graduated from North Clackamas School District, and I have 7 grandchildren, 5 of which are attending North Clackamas schools. So my background really is involved in inclusivity, involving standards of safety and respect for all students, and making sure that we have a barrier-free environment. That's how my culture is. I grew up with a family that truly believed that we had to be respectful of everyone. Student success was the only thing that I was focused on as a teacher, making sure that no matter who you were or what your background was, I was going to find ways to help you be successful. And that included being connected to Clackamas Community College through our articulation agreement. We had up to 17 college credits, thanks to the institution, for my program students who were with me for 4 years, many of whom went on and became very successful in broadcasting, in television production, becoming lawyers, becoming people who were spokespeople in government office. And I could never be more proud than those 32 years of being an educator, a speech coach, and being a mom figure for every one of those students. And that's how I feel I am as a human being in education.
Thank you so much. Is there any follow-up from anyone? All right. We're going to go to the next question.
Yeah, I have the second question for you. In your view, what are the primary challenges confronting the college district presently? How do you envision the board contributing to the resolution of these challenges, and what role do you see the administration playing in addressing them?
Well, there's a couple of things for everyone in education. It's always about funding. And quite frankly, K-12 always gets more funding than secondary, especially in this state. And I don't know whether that's because of the lobbying that the OEA does or not, or because they sent us down to Salem. I spent a lot of time in Salem lobbying the legislature for funding, especially for Sabin-Schellenberg, as well as CTE programs. But funding, of course, and that includes, I am so happy the bond measure passed, but I actually focused in on it on doing my homework today to look more at that information. Deferred maintenance has killed every school district and every school in every education program across this state. Sabin-Schellenberg, we moved over, and when we expanded into Schellenberg, when it was, you did say Owen Sabin, which it was at the beginning, and then it expanded into Schellenberg when we moved and expanded into 18 different programs at Schellenberg and Sabin. So we had a boiler that was it was very smart on their part, but by the time I moved in, it was a 60-year-old boiler that the district had to fix over and over again. Deferred maintenance ends up costing more and more money. So finding a way to catch up on all that deferred maintenance would be, I think, one of the best things. I know that you're working on that now, but it's going to take a lot more money, and we have to explain boilers to people. You have to explain parking lot changes to people. Voters want to know specifically what you're paying, what they were paying for. And so for me, it's the whole funding and explaining it to voters. This is why we need that money. It's not just about salaries. It's about making sure that the students can get to school safely and get into buildings that are not going to harm them.
Joe, you're muted.
I wasn't going to do that. Any follow-up? Or the next question?
Yeah, recognizing that students come from many different backgrounds and identities, how would you as a board member contribute to a culture of student success?
It's a wonderful question. And when I read that over, getting the questions of beforehand, keep in mind the one thing that I view myself as, Sabin was the equalizer in North Clackamas. We had kids from the east side and the west side. Milwaukee high school kids came to Sabin Schellenberg the same as the kids at North Clackamas's Clackamas High School. And then we have New Urban. So we have a whole wide variety of demographics. The rich kids, the poor kids, the kids who are barely staying in school, the kids who are pregnant, who have had babies. Those are all kids that came to Sabin Schellenberg. Hands-on learning for me is probably the biggest way to get people to graduate, whether it's from high school or whether moving forward. When you're 25 years old and you want a good job, you don't have to go on to four-year college. You can go to the community college. I mean, I don't know how many of you people know Wayne Salavag, but he worked not only at Sabin Schellenberg, but just left and retired from Clackamas. And he taught the electronics program at both schools, yours and at Schellenberg. The one thing that I was learning is if you have programs, which Clackamas does, that enables people who are younger to realize that they can go to the school and learn how to have a job, an internship, apprenticeship, and they don't have to spend all that money and still have a great career moving forward with lots of money in a paycheck, then this is the best thing to do. So back to your original question about different backgrounds and identities, how would I do that? I would go out to the home high schools, quite frankly, with permission from the board chair and have conversations with teachers and students who have CTE programs and explain to them how we can offer things at Clackamas Community College that will give them a jump start into their professional life and adulthood, which is what every student wants to see instead of spinning their wheels and going, why am I spending a lot of money and where am I going with this? Because quite frankly, I have three daughters, one of whom graduated from CCC. The other two went right after high school and couldn't get their ideas where they wanted to go. So having somebody who can explain to high school students their senior year, this is an option for you without you spending a lot of money.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll do the next one, which is number 4. Deb, how would you approach a scenario where you disagree with the board's stance as an individual board member? And additionally, how would you handle a situation if a disgruntled constituent approached you with concerns regarding a college issue or an employee?
Great question. And as a former member of the Milwaukee City Council for 2 terms, we had a lot of conversations. I was in the group on the council that made the final decision regarding bringing light rail to Milwaukee. That was the toughest decision I had ever had to make as an adult. We were split. Um, I went with yes, because I could see 15 years from when we made the decision, we would have more revenue and people's property increased in wealth. And we had a lot of people screaming at us in the meetings, at the council meetings, literally calling my house, threatening me if I voted for it. And I actually had a school board member come to the council and say, you know, they're going to rape our students if you let those people from North Portland come in on the light rail. Yeah, it was very tough. Those were moments where you learned that a lot of people were not going to be nice about some of the decisions you make. But if you do it for the good of the order, knowing full well you're going to have to stand by your decision. And as a board, a commission, or a council, once the decision is made, you stand by that. You are part of the team. You do not mock anybody else's decision on how they felt when they made that decision. You voted, you discussed it. That's the reason you made your decision. And as for somebody in the community, I would say first, have you talked to the employee? I don't know if the policy is, but for the North Clackamas, if a parent was upset with the teacher, the policy was go to the teacher and have this conversation. If that didn't work, you go to the principal. If that doesn't work, then you move up the ladder. So I always wonder, I would always want to believe that there is a policy where you move forward instead of, it's not my job as a board member to have those conversations. We do it internally.
Thank you. We're at the point now, Deb, where you, if you have any questions for us.
The only question I have is what experiences would make an ideal candidate for being on this board? And Wade, Rob, I would love to hear from you.
Well, I'd say your background is certainly strong, especially the CTE background and educator as long as you have. I think you've answered the questions well also regarding the board responsibility, right, and roles and going through chain of command kind of thing and respecting everyone in essence. I like hearing that. But I'd say your background is strong from just because of all the years in education. And then city council. We did city council at the same time.
Yes, we did.
Happy
Yes, we
Valley for me and Milwaukee for you.
Yes. Well,
And by the
thank
way, we also know each other through the chamber for the other board members here. And we were in the same leadership class at the chamber leadership class.
thank God for
Back in
Wilda.
1996. That's quite a while ago, right?
I think I was in one of the first ones. I was with Bernard. Bernard and I were in the same class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. That was a good time.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate everyone's questions, and I know that you have a lot of work on your plate. And this means a lot to me just to have the opportunity to interview with you folks, because this is, now that I'm retired, I would really like to get more involved with the community college because it did so much for my daughter. And quite frankly, for many, many of my students, I am so sorry that we lost the broadcasting program that Andy Mingo was so good at, and that many of my students went through and then became, honest to goodness, in the industry because of the community college connection that got them started in secondary. So thank you for that. And thank you for allowing me to interview for this position. I would really, really enjoy working with all of you.
Thank you so much. And
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
You indicated that you're a grandmother.
Yes, I have 7 grandchildren.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's great though. Great.
Well, thank you
5 that
so
went
much.
through Clackamas Community College. Or
Well,
ongoing.
absolutely. That's on the plan. All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Good night.
Katie, are you still there?
Yeah, I just popped. I popped off when they were interviewing. The other candidate is here, but you have a little bit of time if you want to hold a little bit of discussion, or if you just want to figure out who's going to say the next questions, the next round of questions for the next candidate.
Just gonna ask you and Tim, why do I have a connection with Deb Barnes? In fact, I asked Jane this question the other day, right? Was she involved in the 2014 bond campaign or something? Chris Groner connections or
I think
anything?
so. She interviewed previously for the position, I think when Kathy Heisey got it.
Oh,
I think you were part of that interview
yeah,
process.
maybe that's what it was, right?
But
Yeah.
I don't think she was in the 2014 bond.
And then I just have a point of order question, Katie, or maybe even Tim. When the candidate asks if there are any follow-on questions, how careful do we have to be to add questions that we don't ask other candidates, right? Can we really follow on with questions, especially only about maybe the things that those candidates mentioned? We don't stray too far from their content. What? I think I was reserved about asking additional questions without that point of clarification.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, as long as it's within the information that you were provided, that you're asking like a clarifying question about, or if it was in response to one of their answers to one of the questions. But you shouldn't you shouldn't just randomly choose a question and ask one candidate that you don't ask all the others.
Right. An example might have been when Miss Barnes was talking about equity or something, we could have asked another question about that, right? Potentially.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just wanted to clarify that. That's what I thought, but I didn't jump in. So
I would think you could ask a question that's unique to them and their background also. That's
Yeah.
different than the others, right?
want to make sure we all understand the rules here.
Mhm.
Yep. Want to be
Right.
consistent as possible.
And I think I'm taking question number 1 next.
Good.
Does that mean I'm after you? Probably so.
Yeah, you're number 2. Wade, you already had one, didn't you?
I had 3.
3. Well, I'll take 3 if no one else has.
I had 4 before, so
Well, you take 3, then I'll take 4.
okay. Ryan, did you want one though? Or you want to do the next? Maybe you do the next one.
I sure I can ask number 5.
Okay.
There you go.
That's a short,
go.
easy one. I'll do that.
There you go.
Okay. I'll do
like
number
it.
3 then. I'll do number 3 and yeah.
I'll do 4. Is that
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right.
All right, so everybody knows what they're doing?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, the next candidate is here. Would you like me to let them in?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Please.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you all.
Hi,
Good to
David.
see you too.
Hi,
Mhm.
David.
And let me just open with my voice might sound a little more nasally than normal. I'm recovering from my 2 sons getting sick and then my wife and I getting sick as well. So I'm not quite at 100%, but I'm here.
Hello, David. How are you doing today?
Good,
Other
thank you.
than no voice.
Oh, fucking Thanksgiving is not what it used to be in my 20s. It's not what it used to be with children now.
Well, we have about 5 questions here, David. So we're going to start off with
Please.
our first person. I think that you know everybody here on the board. Should we introduce ourselves?
I think I know everybody, but you're welcome to if you'd like.
Okay. I would love to have. I am Joe Crenshaw, and I am the board chair this year. And I am representing Oregon City.
And I can go next. I'm Irene Konev, and I represent Canby and parts of Malala and Wilsonville.
I'm Ryan Ingersoll, and I represent the other parts of Wilsonville and Westland.
I'm Jane Reed, and I represent Estacada and Colton and parts of Malala.
Rob Wheeler, representing Happy Valley and part of Clackamas.
And Wade, I think his phone is off again.
I was on mute. David, hi, Wade. You obviously recognize me. Zone 3, Oak Lodge, Gladstone. So, Jonathan City. Thanks. Nice to see you again this evening.
Good to see you as well. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All right, Irene, I think you have the question number 1.
I do. Thank you for making time for this interview. Well, sounds like we've had some people at home who were not feeling, including yourself. Our first question today is, every aspect of the work we do at Clackamas Community College is guided by our vision, mission, and values. They are vision, empowering individuals, strengthening communities. Mission, as our community's college, we cultivate equitable, innovative, and responsive education. Values, learning, equity, student success, community, and belonging. Please share with us the ways in which your life has prepared you to serve on an institution with these values.
Thank you. It's a great question. And I just want to say, first off, they're all very good values. I really stand by the values that Clackamas Community College has. and I feel I'm very deeply connected in all aspects. I'm going to do something that I learned back in my marketing classes at the Sabin-Schellenberg Center, which is I'm gonna go through each of them individually. It's part of we called it the 3T process, which is you tell them, and you tell them what you're gonna tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. It's a great way. I always love learning that for my business presentation standpoint in my career. So, well, empowering individuals. I've been a team leader in all aspects of work and life. I've focused a lot of my career and again, personal life and volunteer work of building up people as much as possible. I worked with board member Wade and some other great members on the bond committee last year as the treasurer there. And I was looking back at some old texts that we had sent after the bond had passed. And Martha Spires, one of the co-chairs of the bond, had a great compliment to me that said that I was one of the main cheerleaders of the group, helping bring positivity and enabling others. Strengthening communities. This is something that's super dear to me. I'm part of a marginalized community. I'm a Middle Eastern American. My dad is a first-generation immigrant from Iran, and my mother was born and raised in the Philippines. So I've been an active member of community groups in the marginalized community area. And I really do think community is just something that helps build all of us up together. We all think we can change the world just by ourselves, but I really do think community is what helps with that. The mission of equitable, innovative, and responsive education. As we all know, there's a ton of implicit and explicit barriers to upward mobility. And at a time right now where marginalized communities are increasingly under attack, I think it really is the responsibility of the community college to help adapt and create paths towards this upward mobility. I'm deeply involved in the education process my whole life. My mom spent most of her career at community colleges, primarily at Mount Hood Community College. And my wife has spent her entire career working at Title I schools. So I've worked with both of them directly on ways to adapt and help students and their communities. I've also had a lot of experience with this working in various committees throughout the area. This includes the city of Milwaukee, where I served on the budget committee for Milwaukee, as well as the Citizens Utility Advisory Board, the North Clackamas Parks and Rec Budget Committee, where I was the chair, and where I served as well as the chair of that. And for the last 2 or 3 years, now I'm blanking. I'm going to blame the flu on this one. Either 2 or 3 years, I've been the chair of the CCC Budget Committee. And some direct examples of that. And one more committee on that was the Milwaukee Redevelopment Commission Community Advisory Committee. That is a long name, I agree. The MRC-CAC, where I believe I'm the most tenured active member there. And we've been meeting for the past few years on innovative and responsive ways to help the Milwaukee community while working to preserve local businesses and avoid pushing out the small guy for large businesses. The third area, the values of learning, equity, student success, community, and belonging. Like I said, I really know the power of learning has on upward mobility. And I can really thank the year of college credits I earned at CCC through the Sabin-Schellenberg Center for that. I'm very proud of this accomplishment. I was able to get 2 separate degrees, accounting and economics, at the University of Oregon in 4 years. And I really couldn't have done that without the CTE courses that I had at the Sabin-Schellenberg courses. So I want nothing more than everyone in our community to succeed and benefit themselves by doing things like this. One of my favorite stats I learned when I worked on the bond last year. Did I tell you guys I worked on the bond? Sorry. I really enjoyed. I'll mention it a couple of times because it was a really worthwhile process. I learned a lot more about connecting with all aspects of the community that I have on a lot of different things. And one thing we learned on the bond was 1 in 22 jobs in Oregon are supported by community college students and graduates. So it's not a small figure. Our economy, our society, everyone can't thrive without the community college thriving. So that is something that I'm very passionate about, been very deeply involved in, and want to continue. In addition, community and belonging is an area I've been very passionate about my whole life. As mentioned, I love being a part of community groups, and community groups help bring a sense of purpose to individuals. Like I said, we're truly stronger as a community. And I just wanted to mention a small anecdote with this. When I was at the groundbreaking ceremony for the new athletic facilities, I decided to wear a super deep cut jersey, which was a CCC alumni, Portland Pickles player. His name's Bryson Glasgow. I believe he's now at Oregon State. And in wearing that shirt, I was, showing the connection CCC has. But as I was chatting with, I want to say I was chatting with Ryan, the coach of the Clackamas Community College baseball team came up to me, tapped me on the shoulder, and was like, "Love your Bryson Glasgow shirt or jersey." And I thought, wow, that's cool that you know that. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm actually just got promoted to GM of the Pickles." And like, I know that's a very small thing, but like, I love the Portland Pickles. I love Clackamas Community College, and to hear from the coach like that, to talk, it's super cool to have that community. And I know not just in sports, we've got all of the trades, businesses, long-term connections we have from this. Again, I'll mention Sabin Schellenberg a lot. I know you've heard that a lot in the first interview, and you'll maybe hear it again in the second interview, but I really do love the Sabin Schellenberg Center. And a lot of my really good friends are, I met through some of those business and marketing courses I took there. One of my good friends is, I believe he's the cross country and track coach at Clackamas High School now through that. And you get that community through these kind of courses. So to do that third T, as I said, all of these values are something that I'm deeply ingrained in and I work really hard on. Our community is really around building each other up. I want to emphasize that a lot. And I want to use my experience building each other up as a board member for CCC.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Number 2, is that me?
Me. Okay, David, in your view, what are the primary challenges confronting the college district presently? How do you envision the board contributing to the resolution of these challenges? And what role do you see the administration playing in addressing them?
Great question. Yeah, this is the hard part about public education in general is, I'm going to swear here, but shit's expensive. Ultimately, finances is a big area. We, as we know, without the bond, we couldn't do a lot of the HVAC major tenant improvements that are needed. And we need to continue to build on that. And as we're seeing increasing pushback from the federal government for funding higher education, we also need to find creative ways and work a lot of hours to try and help bridge those gaps. My career is in accounting and finance, and I've spent my entire life looking on budgets in various industries, working to help close these gaps financially and analyze what is or isn't working. And I really do think CCC in the finance area, the duty is to keep CCC as affordable as possible while sacrificing as little quality as possible. That is a really hard task because a lot of those two can sometimes have, I guess, non-overlap to each other. So we need to put a lot of hours into that. I thought what, is it Vice President Jeff? I'm forgetting the formal title. Jeff and Dean Chrissy did last year, meeting with multiple departments. I think they mentioned they had over 30 meetings trying to help figure out how to balance the budget last year. And I really do think they got arguably one of the best case scenarios in balancing the budget. And again, that's something I do for a living. Finances do not scare me, and I would love to help with that. I just want to emphasize again that economics degree I have as well. I've looked at micro and macro level economics. And as we have a lot of uncertainty in the financial forecast for the future, I think that having that experience will help. In addition, I wanted to mention one other thing, is that marginalized communities are under attack. I remember President Cook had mentioned at either last year or the year before's budget committee meeting that somewhere between 20, and correct me if I'm wrong here, again, I'll blame the flu if I get this wrong, which is that I think 20 to 30% of students self-reported as communities of color. And with increasing pushback at the federal level against immigrant communities, we're going to see a major impact on that. And I, regardless of who someone is, it is not fair to cut short anyone's education process because of that. My wife, again, being a Title I teacher, the school she works at right now, the students are primarily immigrant communities, and she's told me, I mean, real ruin your weekend stories of what some of the families have gone through, and parents are afraid to go into work or school because of the crackdown. And I really want to emphasize that I think it's the responsibility of the college to help support these communities when they're coming to learn and coming to help create upward mobility. Because genuinely, the best way we can help succeed, the best way we can help society as a whole is to have these to get an education, to learn how to do a trade, to be a technician, to work on somebody's finances, to do all of these things are vital parts of our economy, vital parts of society. And I am deeply involved in this. I'm a member of a SWANA, which is Southwest Asian North African group, and a couple of immigrant rights communities, as well as I've worked with the governor's office in their DEI to help these marginalized communities. And I do really think that we're going to see a drop off of enrollment in these communities, and it's such a vital part of the success of Oregon and the country as a whole.
Thank you. Thank you for your response.
And your response, David, the last part of your response might have been what you would do to this one, this question, which is recognizing that students come from many different backgrounds and identities. How would you as a board member contribute to a culture of student success? And you may have addressed that, but if there's anything you'd wish to add, this would be the time to do that too.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess my answer, C, question 2. No, in addition to that, my dad, I want to just bring up my dad's story, which is that my dad came here from Iran about 6 to 8 months before the Iranian Revolution happened. And my dad was cut off from his family. He could not talk to them, because if he did, he could not receive money from them, because if he did, he would be seen as a sympathizer of the Western government, and it was fully cut off during the time. And my dad had to work really hard to get through those times at Mankato State University, where he was. And I have learned a lot from him on what he did. And I think my goal would be to continue to help build community with people of different backgrounds. And trust is an area that is really hard, especially right now. Again, with the crackdowns that we're seeing, it is hard to say I trust a governing authority when certain governing authorities may not have the same interests in mind. And I have a lot of experience with this. Like I mentioned, I've been working with a lot of immigrant communities. And I think that deep embeddedness that I have and trust that I've been showcasing will really help the college.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll make sure that we direct you to question number 2 in the response. Thank you, David. I think I have question number 4. How would you approach a scenario where you disagree with the board's stance as an individual board member? Additionally, how would you handle a situation of a disgruntled constituent approach you with concerns regarding a college issue of an employee?
Great question. This one, instead of saying C answer 2, I would say C last year's budget meeting. I think CCC's budget meeting last year was a good example of this. And another small anecdote from that groundbreaking ceremony for the athletic facilities. That was the first time I had met board member Ryan there. And he said, I feel like I recognize your voice from the budget meeting. Were you the budget chair? And I said, oh, you poor soul, had to listen to me that whole time. But I think that last year's budget meeting was a great example of that. There's 2 sides. We have the board. If you have disagreements with the board, I really thought, although the budget last year was darn near perfect, there was a little bit of area that I respectfully disagreed with some of the members of the board on, and thought that the best way to help mitigate any litigation would be a certain approach. But that being said, our duty is to listen, which we did, express our opinions, work to find common ground. But ultimately, like, what's the best part about America? And I mean, my dad, again, from Iran, would say this all the time, is that we all have an equal say and we all have to respect each other's opinions. And in the end, we respect the decision of everyone as a whole. And I'm going to quote a Persian poet here on this, because we can have disagreements on a lot of stuff, but it's not something that we really can take with us forever. So the quote is from a Persian poet named Omar Khayyam. He says, living life, tomorrow's fate, thou be wise, thou canst not tell or yet surmise, pass therefore not today in vain, for it will never come again. That's the English translation of it. And it is essentially saying we can stress and stress and stress about a disagreement we're having right now, but in the end, we have so many things that we have to do as a board member, as a budget member, as citizens of the community. There's so many demanding things that holding grudges is not something that is worth wasting our time over, because today is past, it won't come again, and tomorrow is going to be a whole new day. Constituent wise, again, I think I was as the chair with the gavel, I got some good gavel use at that budget meeting last year. And as someone with no experience on that with the community college before then, I would like to think that I handled that as well as possible. I really do think our job as public servants is to serve. The voice that everyone has is valid. Everyone's opinion is important to hear. We have to listen as much as possible, hear their concerns. If there are ways that I could help, if there are ways that others at CCC, whether it's myself or President Cook or someone in the equity office or Lori in marketing and communications, we can guide them in that direction. Our job is to help as much as possible and to listen. It is not our job to argue with individuals in that sense.
Thank you. Thank you so much, David.
The final question is, do you have any questions for us?
I do. Can I ask 2 questions? I know we're running short on time.
See if we can fit them in.
What was that?
See if we can fit them in. Go ahead and ask, right?
Oh, sorry. So first question is 1 year down the road, or a year and a half down the road, let's say it's June 30th, 2027. I've been appointed and I've been serving for the last year and a half, and y'all feel like, man, David killed it. I really hope he runs for re-election. What would be something that I did well, or what would be something that you feel like would be a really positive attribute that would contribute towards that?
So, Ryan, are you going to take that?
I didn't know that's what I signed up for.
I'm only
I
kidding.
don't have anything to immediately respond to yet. I'm still thinking. So somebody else is more than welcome to jump in as well.
I love that you all put the newest guy on the committee in charge of what.
I've got a quick response for you, David, but I don't know that answers your question. And I think it's this, right? This group has very unique backgrounds. We're very diverse culturally and from very different backgrounds, and we're really respectful of that. And the culture of this board right now is really well organized. That's the best way to put it, right? And we're hoping that if that were the case a year and a half from now, we would say that we got the right person, that culture was preserved, and that we appreciated the diversity of your background. That would be my most direct answer to your question.
Thank you.
And I would just say a good team player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thoughts are
Well,
along same lines as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And a person who listens and a person who asks asks questions about being a board member and receives will be receiving information about being a board member, but also sort of does ask, feels comfortable asking if you have questions.
Sounds great. I think President Cook, you could probably attest to, if anyone has asked more questions than me at the budget committees the last 2 years, I would be willing to bet I'm probably in the top 1 or 2. And then my second question is just, how did the first bond oversight meeting this morning go? Apologies, I have my day job, but did that go well? That might be more directed at President Cook.
Well,
Wade was,
I think Wade was there.
Wade.
Yeah.
I was there too. I listened.
I was in the
great.
group. It was
Yeah.
more of an introduction, really, to get people up to speed. So it was introducing the group essentially, and then introducing the group to the bond itself and its project. So that's really what took place. It was kind of more of a kind of a global introduction of where we are today with ongoing projects and what's ahead. So we
Awesome.
come to that stuff already, right?
Yes, it went well.
Awesome. That's great. And it felt like a really engaged team as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Large group, 36 people in there, so it's hard to sort of take the pulse of how everybody's feeling about that. But again, there was nothing really asked of the group per se, other than that a lot of people asked a lot of questions about the status of some of that work and where some of those projects came from. So they were pretty inquisitive. So
Awesome. That's great.
And it was a very good presentation. I thought that a real good overview of the bond that Jeff Shaper presented. It was good.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I again, that the bond has been, it's really cool to see that the community college can grow the way it should, and because of that. So that's awesome. Thank you. Well, again, I just, quickly doing that 3T, tell them what you said, tell them. Thank you again for having me. I really appreciate everyone taking the time. I just want to highlight, I'm super engaged, as everyone knows from all the questions I've asked through budget meetings. I'm super involved with the community college. I genuinely love CCC. It's been a part of my life since I was a little kid at Mount Scott and Happy Valley elementary schools through now. And I would be very honored to accept this role if nominated. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Ciao.
Do I hang up, Katie? I don't know.
You can, yeah, if you wanna, or I can move you back to the waiting room.
I'll hang up. Thank you. Thank you again, everyone.
Thank you, David.
Our next candidate is ready, but I don't know if you guys want to figure out who's saying which questions this time around, and Ryan might choose a different question.
Well, we got him off.
I think we keep Ryan on the spot, right? Let's turn up the heat.
I'm only new for a little bit longer, and then I'm not the new person anymore.
Who's going to take question number 1?
I'll do that.
Okay. Number 2,
I can take 2.
number 3,
I'll
Joe, I'll
take,
do it. I'm good at it already, so, right?
I'll take
This
4.
Rob raised his hands. Rob, you want to do 3?
No, I'll
Rob.
take 4.
Okay, Rob taking 4. I'll do 3 again. So I have practice.
and no, I'm not going to do number 5.
I will happily do 5 again. That's fine.
I'm not jumping in for you this time, mister.
Okay, I'll be ready.
Putting him on the spot. Wow, the hot seat.
Mhm.
All right, are we ready for the candidate?
Yes, we are.
Okay, here we go.
Hello, doctor.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
I'm Joe Crenshaw, and I'm the board chair this year, and I'm going to lead you through these wonderful questions that we have to ask you. The first question, first of all, I represent the Oregon City area, and we'll go through our group here, and they will introduce themselves and let you know where they are serving this year. Ryan?
Hi, I'm Ryan Ingersoll. I represent Westland and Wilsonville.
Jane?
I'm Jane Reed, and I represent Estacada, Colton, and parts of Malala.
We?
And I've been on the board for about 17 years. And Ryan is new.
Less than a year.
Oh,
Wade?
Yeah. Hi, is it Elena?
Alina, yes.
I'm Wade Hathorn. I represent the areas of Oak Lodge, Gladstone, and Johnson City, and little portions of Oregon City, and little portions of Milwaukee.
Okay. And who's that? Rob?
Rob Wheeler, it's my 9th year on the board. I represent Happy Valley and part of Clackamas.
And Irene?
Hi, my name is Irene Konev. I represent Canby, parts of Malala, and a small sliver of Wilsonville.
Terrific. And we'll start with our first questionnaire.
Okay, that one is mine. So the question is, every aspect of the work we do at CCC is guided by our vision, mission, and values. And they are our vision, empowering individuals, strengthening communities. Our mission, as our community's college, we cultivate equitable, innovative, and responsive education. And our values are learning, equity, student success, community, and belonging. So please share with us ways in which your life has prepared you to serve an institution with these values.
Absolutely. So the first thing I'll say is that I've essentially lived in the world of academia for my entire life. My parents are both professors over at Colorado State University, so I've been in and out of their labs forever. I branched out. My parents are biologists, so I'm a chemist, bit of a rebel. But so I went to Reed College for my undergrad, and then recently finished my PhD at OHSU. And I've been a part of the academic world for my entire life. And for me, as a scientist, my education is my livelihood. They're inextricable, and I see the path that I took becoming increasingly out of reach for more and more people due to cost. And as far as I'm concerned, community colleges versus a four-year college is not a difference in quality or goals. It's a difference in structure, with the same quality and the same goals. And so I want to see my community have access to their academic goals, and that is a way to enrich my community. So in my academic career, in the adult portions of it, I've tried to leave each institution that I've been a part of a little bit better than I found it. So in my master's program, I was a little bit involved in student government, but at OHSU, I dug really into student government and got pretty involved with some policy work. And there's three parts of my legacy there that I'm very proud of. One is that I served on a task force to create an equitable process for grad students to report abuse and overwork from their mentors and advisors. Secondly, I created a hardship fund for grad students that provides financial support with minimal questions asked. And for better or for worse, that fund has been used many times since its inception. And the third one is a little bit in the weeds, but I was able to change some policy language that was getting in the way of open communication between a few different departments. And I was really excited to see those issues resolved. So my whole thing is I want to provide substantive structural improvements to students' lives, because I know without those baselines, people are not able to learn and access their academic goals.
I have
Thank you.
a kind of a follow-up question, Joe. Let me ask this question, and I hope it's not too far afield, but I think it's in line where you're talking about with the values that you have, right?
Mhm.
Recognizing that you've been involved politically inside the institutions, making advocacy statements and stuff. How do you see yourself potentially now as a board member, where you may have to make difficult challenges, recognizing that these trade-offs are very challenging, and not only what you knew back then and what they are today, they've only gotten worse, right?
Absolutely.
And we're all very sympathetic to the needs and desires, but there are really hard decisions that have to get made. Where do you
I
see
know.
yourself sort of landing in that, right? And how does that fit with your your personality and those values?
So I think that for me, education is fundamentally a relationship between people. And the first things that you should always choose to support are the people, whether that's the student side or the faculty side, or staff. You could have the nicest building in the world, but you're not going to make education happen without supporting both sides of that education piece. And so that's the fundamental place that I would always come back to as we make those tough decisions, because I do know that that it's a tricky place going forward. I think that ties into one of the other questions as well.
Any other follow-ups? All right, number two.
So, number two, in your view, what are the primary challenges confronting the college district presently? How do you envision the board contributing to the resolution of these challenges? And what role do you see the administration playing in addressing them?
Right. So to see if I would be a good fit for this board and to prepare for potentially joining it, I watched on YouTube the last 5 months of meetings from the board, and I got a chance to speak to Kathy Heisey as well. And my takeaways from that are that there's sort of what I see as sort of three challenges for this coming year. The first one, kind of the elephant in the room, is the financial piece. There's multiple things happening at once that are going to make the financial decisions so much harder than they have been in the past. One being the trickling down and end of the COVID relief funds, one being cuts from the state side that could be as much as 5%. Kathy did hint to me last night that maybe it's going to be a little bit less than that. So I'm somewhat hopeful there, but we still need to be prepared. And then also, so the supply side going down, demand side also going into a bargaining year with three different groups of employees who as they have a right to do, will be making demands. So there's potentially demand going up and supply going down, and that just creates a very difficult financial piece. So I think our role as the board is both to support the administration, but at the same time hold them accountable, keeping the values always first and foremost as sort of a big picture guide. Secondly, the transition of technology systems. It's a smaller thing, but I think any kind of transition with work like that creates vulnerability during that transition. So I think our work there would be to keep an open channel of communication between the folks that are doing that work, and just be prepared for any challenges or issues that arise with that IT transition. And then thirdly, there's sort of a cultural challenge right now where there's, at least at the federal level, is sort of out of vogue to be in support of things like diversity, equity, and inclusion. And our role as a board is to continue to stand strong and support those ideals, no matter what the circumstances are. And I think that that's something that CCC has done extremely well, in my opinion. So again, to be supportive of the administration.
Thank you. Any follow-up? Number 3. Who's got that one?
I do, yeah. Recognizing that students come from many different backgrounds and identities, how would you, as a board member, contribute to a culture of student success?
Right. So I am somebody who's been fortunate in a lot of ways and had several privileges in my life, but I did also grow up gay in a part of Colorado that at the time was pretty conservative. And so I did face some challenges in my education in high school. There was, to give an example, there was one, it's a little hard to talk about actually, but there's a day in health class where there was a very homophobic guy sitting behind me who was just actively making comments about how he wanted to harm gay people. And then what is funny to me in retrospect is that we then had to measure our resting heart rates, and mine was 112 from fear. And that I think is kind of a metaphor for the way that disenfranchised groups have their education impacted. And so that's a story that I continue to hold in my mind, and then also analogize that out to other underprivileged groups as well. And that's, again, something I think that CCC does really well. So my family attended the Indigenous Peoples Day event over at the Oregon City location, and that was extremely well done in my opinion. So I personally am as white as man is, but my wife and my kids are Native American, and my kids got to try fry bread for the first time, and it was love at first sight for sure.
Number 4.
That would be me.
Right, Rob?
Okay, how would you approach a scenario where you disagree with the board's stance as an individual board member? Additionally, how would you handle a situation if a disgruntled constituent approached you with concerns regarding a college issue or an employee?
So, having watched several of these meetings, I don't anticipate having any major disagreements with you all that can't be resolved respectfully. I'm always somebody that is going to vote my conscience on vote issues, as well as voice my opinions, ask tough questions when they need to be asked. But at the end of the day, I do recognize that I'm one person on a many member board. As far as disgruntled community member, that's where thunder and lightning would come out. Just kidding. No, I'm perfectly capable of tolerating mild to moderate disrespect. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and so get that on the daily. If something does end up arising to the level of severe disrespect or harassment, that's something where I would want to shut the conversation down and make sure that I only engage with folks that are engaging in good faith.
The final question is, do you have any questions for all of us or any of us, not just me?
Uh,
He's trying to get himself off the hook, right? Ask him a question.
I guess so. My question would be, I would love to hear you all articulate in your own words what your goals would be for the coming year, and tell me how I could, as an oncoming board member, prepare to help you meet those goals.
We have to be a little careful because we're doing this right now with Tim and we haven't given him our thoughts yet. So it might be a little pre-disclosure, Tim, right? So, but maybe I can go first. We are, there's a couple things that I think you probably realize from the watching these last few meetings, right? There's some challenge coming ahead of us financially, right? And so we have to remind ourselves constantly that there's a threat there and we have to deal with that. And that's becoming now sort of a larger looming cloud, and it will require us to make some difficult decisions. So we as a board will have I think some challenging conversations to have before us, right? And we'll have to make some tough decisions potentially about, how we achieve sustainability financially as part of that process. And also, it's time for us to start looking, back at our strategic plan, and then looking ahead and seeing where we're going as part of that process. And I think that's kind of some of the real keys that we have been discussing as a board. So you can share a few of those things. And yes, Tim, some of those things are on the list that are coming.
Mine's along similar lines, especially the structural budget deficit, which we've been attempting to curb and eliminate, and it's a tough year to do so, with the state potentially giving less money as well.
Is there a way to advocate with them to, help support our position? And is there a way to engage with the legislature directly about these issues? Or
Yes,
that's important for us as board members.
Yes.
And also for you to have a handle on the budget yourself, right, as an incoming member. I'd want you to know and understand the budget as much as you could.
Of course.
And we advocate with our legislatures, and we also have a statewide organization, Oregon Community College Association, that's made up of the 17 community colleges. So we advocate as a unit as well for the basic amounts. So we're very close to our legislators, and I think they, in the years that we've been talking with them, they understand where we are coming from, which is good.
And I think the last one that I would say, we are also really involved in overseeing our bond campaign and seeing that is successful. And we have Wade and Dr. Cook, both, all of us are actually overseeing to make sure that we do the things that we said we're going to do, that we promised to the community, and we get this thing squared away in 2028, 29. We'll have some changes here on the campus.
I think another piece that I would just suggest that I think about too is because I'm new to the board, is just asking questions, getting to ask other board members questions, learning about their experience, where to find different creative information. I think we have a lot of networks and connections that we have, but then also sharing your expertise and ideas too. I think this has been a group where I've been able to ask questions and share ideas, and it's very collaborative in that piece. So I think that's another part too. We hope for somebody to join that's ready to go, and don't necessarily hold back. But I think this has been a board that's done that, and I've been appreciative of that. So
yeah, I'm somebody that's gonna try to find the data and make decisions based on the data. So I'm no stranger to asking questions.
Yeah, I would just echo what everyone else said. And I think we all bring our own unique connections as we join the board and as we grow on the board. So the connections and then group cohesion and, building that sense of team. We might not always agree, but we're always a team.
And we all really like each other.
That's good to hear. I asked Kathy, I was like, so I saw that you resigned. Are there any like red flags that I should look for? And she said, no, no, no. She seems to have had a really good time here, and it seems to have been a hard decision for her. So,
Well,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
if there are no other questions from anyone, thank you. Elena? Is it Elena or Alina?
Alina,
Alina.
Mm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Katie, is she disconnected yet?
Yes.
Okay. Now you're gonna have to lead this group. Those are
But we're still in a public meeting and it's still being recorded, so just keep that in mind.
yes. Yes. So when we get ready to start talking about the situations, the things that we want to talk about, we have to close this meeting, correct?
No, we leave it open. You have to talk about those things in an open public meeting. So that's what Tim was mentioning is be courteous about what you say and how you say it.
Well, we're
So
gonna
maybe maybe
I
you
would
start by talking yeah, or if Jane has something to, but maybe
I
you
would
start
just
about
say
talking about
that
the things you like.
we have three excellent candidates. We are very fortunate. We have three excellent candidates, and they all bring different pieces to this and different expertise, but all of them seem to love the college and understand the college well and understand their role. So it will not be an easy choice to make. Now, do we want to? I just have a question there. Do we want to voice who we would like to see as the new board member at this time, or do we have other opportunities to do that? Are we going to?
I would think that we would have other opportunities. I think we want to discuss. I would go through some areas because I saw that when you talk about what we are looking for this year, I think they all agreed it's financial, it's funding. Where are we going to get the money from when the dots start falling? So those are all like, and you're right, they all have a really, really good feeling about the college. So I don't think that would be a problem. Unless somebody wants to make that choice. Now, I don't think unless anyone have any discussions that they would like to have.
Well, I would just add to Jane's comments, right? That both as persons, right, and personalities, right, and what they appeared to sort of espouse with regards to, especially the question with regards to value and other things, other questions that they answered. They're very different in terms of that. And I'm looking at us as a group, and this is how I tend to do this, right? Look at us as a group and go, who is going to add the greatest sort of, I think, contribution in terms of reflections of our students and who we serve and the community we serve that would be helpful to us, either through the way that they may see the world in their lens. We can kind of figure that out with the people as they discussed. And in how do they bring that to us that helps us not, because we all have blind spots just by the nature of who we are and our biases and the way that we were raised and how the societies that we came from. How do we make that the greatest diversity in terms of being able to see the world and be helpful in those decision makings? And so I tend to sort of look at the candidates that come onto the board in that way, right? So, and I won't give you my answer yet unless you ask me.
Well, I think I also think about what they would bring to the board that we don't have on the board right now. And that's what, I'm sitting here going through this process in my head. And to sit back and listen, sometimes you get a lot more than when you're trying to talk and figure out what's going on. So, I can't tell you who I pick yet either. So Jane, you have any comments?
No, I just made a sound, I think. That's why I turned green around it, but
Rob, what's going on over there?
Um, I don't know. I liked 2 out of the 3 on paper, and I'm still with the same 2 out of the 3 after the interview. And as you know, I know Debbie Barnes. Um, I think they've both Debbie and David are very community oriented and have been for years. And certainly Debbie has. And it sounds like David's been involved in a lot. Hopefully not too much. But I think they're both well connected in Milwaukee, and I think that's a big deal, right, for our board. Been nice to have somebody well connected in their district, and they both are, to my knowledge. And Debbie's been elected before, right? She's been on city council in Milwaukee. Um, and I've seen her be a leader in other places as well. But I don't know, I'm as has been said by others, I'm grateful for the candidates we have. We have some viable folks. And Alina impressed me with thunder and lightning. That was funny. I really enjoyed that.
Can you tell me a little bit more? Because I remember I was asking questions about Deb Barnes earlier, because somehow there was something that I didn't connect about, something in the past that I know about her. So tell me a little bit about your experience with her when she was on city council in Milwaukee, just briefly. I know you weren't on but you knew of her, right?
Well, I didn't serve with her. No, we served in the chamber together on probably a couple of committees. I chaired Government Affairs Committee and Land Use and Transportation back then. So she would attend those. I'd see her there. So she had an interest in the community, way back. I think we were elected at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, back in 2000. So it's a long-term relation, and she supported the community forever, right, through the Chamber of Commerce as well. And Sabin Schellenberg did a lot through the chamber as well. So I got to know her through that school as well. I got a tour when we took the leadership class. We actually got a tour of Sabin Schellenberg. And I've always been impressed with the organization. And she's been a staunch advocate for CTE as long as I've known her. And she's not afraid to speak out in her advocacy. I think she would be a good lobbyist for us as well. I think she'd be perfectly willing to go down to Salem and lobby for dollars. I think she's done it before, or she even mentioned it for North Clackamas.
Yeah, I thought that I looked up some of her background online. Did she not run for the legislature once?
Is she what?
Did she run for legislature once?
I'm not certain. I don't recall.
I know that she was also a labor union president for the school district or something, right?
Yeah, she mentioned ESD, I think, right? Clackamas ESD.
Okay.
All right, Irene, do you have any thoughts?
Excellent candidates, and they all have so many amazing gifts and strengths and connections that our college could benefit from. And this is one of the hardest things to do, is go through these interviews and try to figure out, because I think they're all really, really good candidates. For me, I felt like both David and Alina brought the background and understanding from other cultures, and also the way they would relate to our students and their experiences. So for me, those 2 candidates really stood out as, especially with all that's happening at the federal level, and the more voice we can give to the experience of students from different backgrounds, and the more understanding we can bring to that student experience. I feel like in their answers to the questions we presented to them, they really we're able to articulate what that means and what belonging means and what it means to support students from different backgrounds. And obviously, all the candidates would bring just amazing support for the college. So I'm stumped, to be perfectly honest. Like, it's hard.
Yes, it is.
Did anybody want to speak? Well, I'll just jump right in. There were two candidates who just had just all of this community experience in Milwaukee. So you both, Deb and David, had that. But may I say that even though I don't think Alina had as much experience in necessarily being in part of the Rotary and being an Optum, doing all of these things, I felt in her a real focus and strength and kind of that, I don't know, to me, she jumped out like she would be a very good addition. All of them would, but I just sort of felt strongly about her as a good thinker and as a calm person. I don't know. She rose to the top for me.
Yeah.
I think I I kind of similarly three excellent people, and I think the difficulty I have, but I like to blame this on a lot of things, is I've only been here a short period of time, and so I'm thinking through, well, who does Ryan like the best? Because that's easy for me to like think about myself, but then I think about, well, who makes the best sense right now and into the near future for the board and the work that we have ahead of ourselves. And then I start to question myself, like, am I thinking about enough perspectives, and have I been here long enough that I can even give that sort of input? So that I just want to give you a view of what happens into my head, because I think this is an important decision, and you picked me for some reason. So like, I also think like I just went through this, so it's an important decision. I think for me, similar to what Irene had just said about Alina and David, I think they bring a different perspective, being kind of just their life experience and sort of the energy around being at the life stage they are. And in particular, there's a couple things that just kind of stand out to me. One, and this wasn't necessarily a requirement or not a requirement, but they have young kids, and they are generally younger in their careers and in their focus. And there's something I know for myself felt very nerve-wracking coming here and thinking like, I don't think anybody on this board has young kids. They're all well along in their careers doing various things. And what that does for me is it signals, for me now being in this place, it signals that people of all different ages and backgrounds can contribute in this way, because I didn't see their passion for education and for the work that we do to be any less than somebody who doesn't have young kids, and sort of navigating that lifestyle. I also sometimes find myself in spaces where people will argue that adults with young kids shouldn't be in these roles because they don't have time for it and they don't make the space and time. And I think especially as a community college and the people that we serve, because we serve a lot of people that are navigating those challenges every single day while adding on so many other pieces, I think that says something about our community. It says something that's really exciting about the future, that younger people are getting more and more involved and want to serve their cities and their communities in this way. And they bring more diverse experiences that can help open our minds to different ideas and thoughts, as we hear their opinions and their connections within their communities. So I think for me that was a heavy thing in my thinking, in my reflections. But again, I think any one of them would be an amazing contributor to the group that we already have, and I think be well situated to help us move into the future capably. And that's a really exciting place to be in. While challenging to make the decision, it's exciting to know that it's not really a bad decision, so to speak.
Well, I'll just say, Brian, I'll try to answer your question about the fact without divulging too much information, right? we're seeing the reason why we picked you right now, by the way.
That's exactly
Your
right.
thoughtful, intellectual, and meaningful, discussion is what we anticipate would happen, and it's playing out live for us. So thank you for that, by the way. Right, we picked the right guy.
I would
So I'm
like to,
confident this board can pick the right person tonight as well, too. That's my.
So why don't we let Ryan pick the right person?
can I speak? I've tried twice. I'll try. I'll say, I'd like to add something to what David had to say about what Ryan had to say about David. And that was, I've been impressed with Ryan's work product, as on our budget committee, and as well as the bond, right? And you mentioned with young children, maybe wouldn't have the time or commitment, but I've been impressed with his commitment to his role on our budget committee as well as the bond. Um, I had similar concerns. Would he have time to serve? I almost posed the question right tonight, but I've been impressed with what he's put in, the effort he's put into the roles he's had.
You mean David, right?
David, yeah. And I would think that we probably would not lose that. Is,
Hope not. Yeah.
I mean, even if he wasn't selected, that he would still,
Oh yeah.
he still has a commitment to the college and to that. Yeah.
So Jane, you were the lead before. How did you make the selection?
What was that? You're talking to me?
Yes,
Of what? Of the
of the person that you're selecting to the board. Did you go
well,
around the table, or did you
I
hold up a note, or did you see?
you're asking the wrong person. No, I think I was, but can people help me? Other board members help me out here? What did we do?
I think
Did we have a public decision of this where we went through and we
what
said
we did last time
yeah.
was, yeah, we did, and I suggested this, and I might suggest this again, right? Because we're in this environment, going around the room, in my opinion, creates a bias if you're the last person to go, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to remove that from you. And what we did last time was we all privately wrote down who it was on a piece of
That's
paper,
right.
then showed everybody. And so you don't get biased by the group, essentially, right? But in doing that, I would say, yeah, I agree that we have very strong candidates in here. I believe the strengths that Deb brought, were the obvious that Rob pointed out, the connections to the community. David had those as well. But I was really impressed by Alina. I thought that her intelligence, her diversity in terms of who she is and the life that she lives and the experiences that she has, I think are a great addition to complement our board. So I think we all have a difficult decision to make in front of us, but as Ryan pointed out, not a bad one.
So do
So-
we do a little paper and hold up?
We can if we're ready.
The
Does anybody
name?
else have anything else you want to say? Are you ready? Do you think you have enough information and where for all in your hearts and mind? Ryan, are you ready?
Let me remind you
minute.
though, let me remind you that if you have a blurred background on, it's going to be hard to see. So you might have to like move your paper in front of your camera
Okay.
and then pull it
Gotcha.
back just a little bit
Okay.
so that we can see it.
Well, the good thing now, Katie, is we'll write them down, but then we have to be held accountable for them. So we can say them after you write them down because you can't. It's hard to scribble off of that. We're watching.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, true.
And once we make this decision, if we are on, we are
I want you to
stream-
all be voting tonight on an OCCA tab, right? Remember, vote
So
is often lunch.
everyone's taking a moment to write down their top candidate.
Unless you want to do, what do they call that? Ranked voting? Pick your top three. Oh, that's right. There's three of them.
We only
In
have
order.
3.
But then you sum up their scores, right? It's one way to do it too.
And we
We need some Jeopardy music, Katie.
Dun, 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 dun,
Dun, dun, dun, dun.
dun, dun, dun.
How much you gonna wager is the real question.
Only answering the question, who is?
Um, Katie, when you say go for it, we'll all raise our.
Oh, I get to do it. Okay, good.
You can
Is
go around
everyone
too, right?
is everyone ready?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh no, can't
No, they're
tell.
hard to read.
All right, I've got Elena, Deb Barnes, Elena. I can't see Jane's. You have to pull it back a little bit, and I can't see Joe's.
Jane is Elena.
Elena.
Elena. Okay. So it looks like the majority is Elena. I can't see Joe's still.
Oh,
I
you
don't even
still
see
can't?
Joe.
Can
Okay,
you
Wait,
see
Joe,
it?
every
You can
time you
just tell
do
us.
it, you go away.
You can confirm now because we have them on
you can
paper.
just say what you can just say it, Joe.
Elena.
Okay.
I
Sounds
think we have a
like it was
majority at least
Elena
of that,
then.
right? Mhm.
I would agree,
So,
a vast majority.
we should probably take an official a vote of that, since I know that was kind of an official vote, but go ahead and have someone nominate and someone second it and then take a vote.
Okay.
I nominate that we appoint Elena Crollenbrook to the Clackamas Community College Board.
I second.
All those in favor?
I.
Aye.
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 Mhm.
Aye.
Bob, you can be opposed if you want.
Those opposed?
It's all right. What? Not going to have an impact either way.
So how many was that, Katie?
That was everyone. Everyone was in favor. It was unanimous. So I will, Tim and I will contact Elena, and we will have probably do as long as they're available and their family is available, do the swearing in at the December 17th board meeting, and then they will sit at the dais.
Can I also, I think you probably would do this, but I would hope that when you speak to the two other candidates, that you just tell them how much we appreciated their experience, their love of the college, their understanding of how it worked, and that we would want to use them in, other ways, that we would like to be able to call on them to be part of other aspects of the work that we do. But yeah, because I think we felt that way with the last time too, because we don't want to lose them, in a way, because they're such advocates. So
We did have to make a decision. If there were 3 seats, I think we would have been comfortable filling them all with each of one of those, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, we will definitely do that. No question.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. Yeah, I'm sure you would, but
Yeah, you're right. They're all 3 were really great candidates. It's nice to see that people, and I echo Ryan's comments. It's just nice to see the interest in the board, particularly from younger folks who, are doing that. Those were really thoughtful comments, Ryan.
Mhm.
And I think it had a lot to do with Ryan being here also.
It has everything to do with Ryan.
Yes.
Don't put that pressure on me, please.
Oh, we've been waiting for this moment.
We need to have some scapegoat. We needed to have somebody.
All right, Katie, where are we?
We're done. As long as there's no further business, you can close out the meeting whenever you're ready.
Is there any other business? Well, seeing that there is none, I am closing this meeting of what is today's date? 12/2.
Yep.
Yep.
December 2nd. And it's about 7:11 p.m.
Wow, that was good. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
closed.
Have a good night.